Elizabeth Emken, thanks for joining us. Now, Ms. Emken, you're a somewhat unfamiliar face in the political arena, and you say your role as Vice President for Government Relations at Autism Speaks has prepared you for the Senate. Tell us how.
Oh, I'd be happy to. And I am an unfamiliar face, you're right, but of course that's the purpose of a campaign, so we're doing everything we can to get the word out. Peggy, I've actually had two careers. My first career was at IBM, cost and financial management for IBM US. My second career was a draft when my son was diagnosed with autism, and I founded and ran the government relations department at Autism Speaks. From there, I've done multiple pieces of federal legislation. I had a great team. We've done bills in 30 different states around the country. I know how to take good ideas and turn them into sensible law, and really decided I was unhappy with the performance of Senator Feinstein and threw my hat in the ring.
All right. During last night's presidential debate, the issue of cutting the military budget was discussed. Major military cuts could impact 1 in 5 jobs here in San Diego. What is your plan to improve the local economy if sequestration happens?
Well, first of all, I don't think sequestration will happen, and I certainly would recommend everyone vote for me. And Dianne Feinstein has clearly been part of a Senate that's really kind of atrophied and has been unable to get us a budget and get our fiscal condition under control, which has, of course, led to this fiscal cliff. I believe every element of the budget needs to be examined, everything. There's nothing that should be taken off at the table. I actually think I'm in a unique position, being the parent of a severely disabled adult, to go back and especially look at the entitlement systems, the Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. And I believe we can make adjustments to these programs, make adjustment to domestic discretionary spending. I think there's some domestic defense, administrative areas that can be cut. I believe we should be looking at the entire budget and looking for ways to streamline our operations. That's what I did for IBM US.
You've been a critic of Senator Feinstein's management of California's water, especially to farmers. What would you do differently?
Well, first of all, I would say that Dianne Feinstein has no record of accomplishment on water at all. She's been talking about it quite a bit for 2 decades, but hasn't moved the ball down the field. I have 4 different water projects I want to see built. They're on my website at emken2012.com. You can read my whole paper on water, but they include expansion of the Shasta Reservoir, the Los Temperance, Los Vasqueros. I have a number of different projects that I believe would increase the amount of water available.
Here, close to San Diego, the San Onofre nuclear generating station has been offline since January due to a small radiation leak. There are talks of restarting one of the reactors. Do you have any concerns about that restart plan, and where do you stand on nuclear power as an energy source?
Yeah, I don't know the condition of San Onofre. I mean, I've not been briefed on that, so I don't know the exact condition of it. But what I do know is nuclear technology has advanced dramatically in the 42 years that Senator Feinstein's been in office. I think some of her views on energy technology in general are antiquated and need to be updated. I believe we have an opportunity, certainly, to look at new systems that are available, new technology that's available in nuclear power. I would be very interested in knowing more about San Onofre in particular, though, and to see what upgrades it might need.
Okay, you briefly talked about your son, Alex. I believe he's 19 and on the autism spectrum disorder. If elected, what would you do to maintain social service programs for people, adults like him, Medicare and Social Security, while balancing the budget?
Right. Well, first of all, there's many things that have to be done right now for our disabled community. You know, everyone thinks that somebody is watching out for the kids and making sure that they have what they need, and the truth of the matter is that it couldn't be further from the truth. One of the first things we need to do is repeal Obamacare. I will tell you that it is bad for individuals with autism. Anyone needing habilitative and rehabilitative care will suffer under Obamacare. That's my first priority. What I do believe we need to be doing more for adult services for individuals that are disabled. I would like to see programs that encourage private business to hire these individuals, I believe there's a very appropriate role in the tax code for incenting behavior. The difference between my views and someone like Senator Feinstein, who believes in the government should just be providing all of these programs, I believe in incenting business to provide opportunities for everyone, including the disabled. And I think there's going to be a big opportunity to address that in 2013 when the U.S. Senate takes on the very large task of overhauling the federal tax code.
All right. Unfortunately, we are out of time. U.S. Senate candidate Elizabeth Emken, thanks for talking with us.
Thank you.